So let's understand what will teach us or what will make us educated from the perspective of how to generate energy in teams from the perspective of feelings, okay. For that, I'm going to share with you a module which is not made by me. The credit goes to a gentleman called Stephen Covey. How many of you heard of Stephen Covey? You have? There's a book he's written. What is the book called? 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. People who've not read the book, I recommend please read it. Okay, it's one of the must books for corporate worlds. Okay, so in one of his books, he speaks about a concept called EBA. How many of you heard of this EBA? No? All right. Nobody knows what's EBA, so let me explain what's EBA. EBA, the full form is Emotional Bank Account. Write it down. It's called Emotional Bank Account. What Stephen Covey is saying is that we have an emotional bank account with every person around us as leaders. The teams that you have, the people that you have, the seniors, the peers, the subordinates, the people at home. You have a EBA even with your organization. You have an EBA with your society. You have an EBA with your environment. You have an EBA with almost everything around you. Every person, every human community, you always have an EBA with them. What is the EBA again? Emotional bank account. Now what does he mean that you have an EBA with everybody? Let me explain. Do you have a bank account where your salary goes? Yes. Which bank account does it go to? Tell me which bank? Okay, Citibank, right. So let's say Citibank. What are the basic facilities any bank gives you? Basic facilities. Deposit and withdrawal. These are the basic facilities, is that right? Yes. Now to use these facilities, we have 2 or 3 transactions like cash and check. These are a couple of tools which we can use to deposit or to even withdraw. Nowadays there is online transfer also, right? So we have ATMs, but basically it's all about deposit withdrawal through cash and through check. Is that clear? Yes. Now similarly, you have an emotional bank account with people around you. Let me give you an example. If you right now, you may not realize it, but you even have an emotional bank account with me. And there are 2 kinds of bank accounts even in the bank. What are the 2 kinds of bank accounts? Savings and current account. Which bank account do you have with me right now? Current bank account. Why is it current? Is it because you don't interact with me every day? It's a current. What is a current account? Try and think of it from there. What is a current account? What is the difference between a current account and a savings? No. A current account is a business account. Current account is a commercial business account. Do we agree? Yes. A savings account is more of a personal account. It's not truly a business account. Is that right? It's more of an individual account. A business account is where you know that you're doing a business with multiple amount of people or with 2-3 people and you're getting some commercial income there. Is that right? Yes. And what is the difference? How do you differentiate a savings account to a commercial account or to a current account while you even start the account? What is the difference? To even start the account, what is the difference? Do you know? A savings account can start with 0 balance. But a current account? 5,000. Has to have some minimum balance, is that right? Yes. Right. Now let me explain that just in the way you have in your banks, you have certain currency. What is the currency we use in India? Rupees, which goes into your account as money. In emotional bank account, what is the currency? Say, I'll just show you a diagram here. Let's say this is your EBA or your bank account, okay? And there's some money here. There's some money here. What is the currency used in the emotional bank account between people? Which feeling? Which emotion? Trust is that again. So trust is the currency here. Write that down. Trust is the currency. Trust is the currency between us. Here is a question. All of you, have you experienced this in your office environments? That sometimes you make a small mistake, but there are some people in your office who deal with you. Even if you make a small mistake, they make a big noise. Do you know some people around you like this? Hello?
Yes.
You do? Okay, good. Probably there are more such people around you. Do you also know people, I'm sure you do you also know people where you make a big mistake but they forgive you easily?
Yes.
There are some people in your life like this, yes or no?
Yes.
What is the difference between these 2 people? Why one person, you make a small mistake, they make a big noise? Why with one person, you make a huge mistake, they forgive you easily? What is the difference? The amount of, in the emotional bank account, right? The amount of currency that's available, the amount of trust that is available in the emotional bank account with these two people. Let me explain this very logically right now.
But it can be expectations also, right? That person has a low expectation with you. You make a, you make a small mistake. He does not make a noise about it because his expectation is low. He knows you will always make a mistake. He's taking that.
So let's understand this from this perspective of an EBA. Then we'll connect to that point again, all right? Now in this currency, this is how it works. Let's say you knew a person in the office whom you met about 6 months back, okay? And the first time he said that, would you please give me a book which I've been wanting to read? And you said, sure. And you give him. Now after you give him that book, you said, can you please give me this book exactly in 3 days because I'm going to need it after that. It's a technical book and I refer to it very regularly. On exactly the 3rd day, he gives you the book back. What has he done right now? But what has he done right now? He's made a small deposit. Let's say a 1 rupee deposit, and that relates to 1 rupee trust. Now 1 rupee may not seem like a big amount in the beginning, but if you know about savings, do you all know about savings? Nowadays we know more about expenses than savings actually. Okay, so if you know in savings, even 1 rupee every day can make a difference in the end of the year. Can it? Yes. Similarly, in a relationship, a small saving every day of a deposit of trust can make a difference in the long term in the relationship. So you meet this person again next time. Now the person gives you work and you finish the work on exactly the same time. What have you also done now? You deposit certain trust. For 6 months, let's say you sit together, you work together, you communicate with each other very well, all right? And there are 2 ways in which you can deposit trust in this emotional bank account. Like in banks, you have check and cash. In the emotional bank account, what are the 2 ways? C and C, check and cash. But the C and C here is something different. What is that? If I had to deposit trust with you and you had to deposit trust with me, there are only 2 ways of doing it. What are those 2 ways? One is what? Communicate. Yes, let's give him a good hand for that. One is communicate. Excellent, right answer. So one is you can use communication. Now, what is communication? Is it cash or is it check? It's cash right now. The way I talk to you right now will either create a deposit or it will create what? A withdrawal. Okay, let's say you come in the morning to the office, and this happens to a lot of us nowadays. You come in the morning to the office, you start working, and after half an hour you realize that your neighbor has already been sitting there. And you didn't even say good morning for the last half an hour because you're so busy in your work. Does that happen sometimes? We've made what here right now? A 1 rupee withdrawal in the way we communicated, or we did not communicate. That communication or lack of communication right now has made a 1 rupee withdrawal. Do you think that person feels something about nobody saying hello to him for that half an hour? Yes. Everybody does. Nobody may say it because 1 rupee doesn't make a difference. But in the long run, does it make a difference? Yes. It makes a difference. Try doing this for 15 days and see what happens to your colleagues and your environment. You'll see a different reaction from them. Suddenly after 15 days, they may not want to help you the way they normally help you. Just do this small thing. Every morning, do this 1 withdrawal. Don't say hello to them for the first half an hour. Or make this small deposit every morning. Every time they come, say a direct hello or a good morning with a nice energy level. Talk to them for a minute and then start your work for 15 days and see what is the difference after 15 days. Have you already seen that difference? Yes or no? Yes. It makes a difference. So that's a deposit that you're making. All right? So that's the communication style. But there's a check style also. What is the check style? What is the check style? The check style is known as commitment. What's a check, right? It's a commitment that you sign and say, this is the amount I will promise to give you. Is that right? Yes. So that's a commitment. When you say that tomorrow evening by 5 o'clock, I will give you this email. Okay, not female. I will give you this email. Now, if you, instead of 5 o'clock, you give it to him day after tomorrow, not even tomorrow. It's a friend, so probably he will not say anything first time. But is it a withdrawal? Yes. Hello? Yes. Yes. Small withdrawal, but it's a withdrawal. In the long run? Yes. Absolutely it does. But let's look at it now. Through cash and through cash, which is communication, and through check, which is commitment. So communication and commitment. You use communication and commitment to deposit a lot of trust, and the person deposits a lot of trust within your relationship in the first 6 months. You sit together, you eat together, you work together, you have fun together, you go out for parties together. 6 months down the line, you've probably deposited a huge amount of trust here. Do you see this here? Hello? Yes. So do you have a good relationship now? Yes. Excellent. Now look at it. One day, that person says, tomorrow evening, there is this important project meeting that I have, and I cannot finish that project meeting without